Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we're covering Digimon Adventure: 2020, episode 44, Hikari and the Moving Forest. I'm May, and this time I'm joined by the lovely Quinn.
Hi.
And the lovely Chloe.
Hello.
And the lovely Evie will not be joining us, but she has sent through her notes that we will be reading when we come to the discussion portion of the podcast. So before we get into it, a quick bit of housekeeping. The website will continue to not be up until I have full internet. The website was alive and having a good time, not live, but alive. And then my partner did an oopsie and dropped the Raspberry Pi onto the carpet from a very, very low height without any force, like accidentally just moved it and it just fell. And it landed in such a way that the micro SD card snapped. I did not even know that was possible, but it was, and I do have backups, so it will only be missing like 3 posts.
Oh, that's not bad.
And that's about it. So it has like a backup from the week before we moved. So
Okay.
it's just 7 days behind of what it would be. But I was able to restore that. But I'm not going to be able to have that up until we have internet again, because the 4G modem, we used up all the data when we plugged in the Ring doorbell. So yeah, that was an oopsie. But so we're like, maybe not. So that will wait until I think the HFC shortage is sort of over, and they're doing installations again with in like late May. And the thing is, these modems are specialty for each. Like, you need a modem as well as the router. We have the router. The modems you can't just buy. They're like specialty coded for the address that you live in.
Oh, I hate
so
that
you can't
crap.
just take it. It's absolutely terrible. So if there's a shortage, no, they're not making any of those. So you can't have that specialty modem, and you can't take the one from your previous house because
It doesn't
it's
work
for
at your address.
that address. Yeah.
Wow,
And
what a racket.
and when we moved to the last place, it was an old house, already had this. It's called NBN. It already had that installed, but the previous people who rented it took the modem. But obviously,
And so you're just
that it
screwed.
does nothing for them. Yeah, it basically does nothing for them, and just had us without internet for like a week. But there wasn't a shortage then, at least. This time we need to get it like installed. Because it's a brand new house, so it doesn't have a modem. And also, I think they need to make sure that it has the capability for it. But anyway, so that's a whole thing. So we don't know when we'll have the internet for real. We're hotspotting off our phones at the moment, which is fine. A little bit. I think it's like a little bit slower than what the NBN would be like. But anyway, no internet, no website for a while. Hopefully, we'll be back soon. But yeah, that's a bit of an update.
Glad that you have hotspots. Hooray.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing about having 4G phones. And I have a work phone as well. So I have my normal phone, and then I have my work phone, which also has a hotspot. So I don't know how much data I have on the work phone. I just know the provider, and I know what type of phone it is. I think it's a good one. I don't know. But it's a phone. And so that's the thing. And a bit more housekeeping. I have a PO box now. So if you want to send letters and stuff or whatever, you can. It's PO Box 6258. Dandenong, Victoria 3175, and obviously Australia. If your postal service doesn't allow you to post to PO boxes, let me know, and I will give you a special edit of that address, which will allow you to send to non-PO boxes. But I don't want to give that one out because it only limits me to like 50 per year. So I will only send things to that if I absolutely have to.
Makes
and
sense.
Another bit of the last bit of housekeeping is that I commissioned the wonderful Chisai 236. Where'd I get 5 from? Because that was in my
Because you're a
PO
programmer.
box, and I've got 236. And so I commissioned her. She's wonderful. She is on Twitter. She's one of our wonderful Patreon supporters and friends. And I commissioned her to do some overlay art for my videos on YouTube. So when I'm talking about virtual pets, there's this cute, adorable little art of me as Mameo from Digimon World. And I've got a VB and I've got a Tanimon. It's very good. It's perfect. So thank you, Chi, for that. And I forgot to mention it last time because I was very tired. And I'm still tired this week, but able to remember things a little bit more. Still tired, though. I've unpacked, though, which is great.
Woo!
So I was not really spoiled for much this episode, like I was last time. I was spoiled for Petaldramon's death, so that's sad. But that was about it. That was like, not really a big spoiler. Like, last time with Ponchomon showing up, that was still mildly annoyed about that.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good episode, so the episode didn't suck, but yeah. Anyway, so the children arrive in a forest, and Taichi suggests splitting up to look for food because this show can't focus on more than one character at a time and has troubles with that.
Yeah.
And then we have Hikari. Yep.
It's so bad. I just love Sora's
it's getting to a point where it's
face.
funny. Yeah, Sora's like, oh, I guess I'm not doing anything this episode. It's not my turn yet. And then we have Hikari stepping on some vines, and she realizes that the forest is alive, and it's just a giant Petaldramon. Like, it's Petaldramon from Frontier, but it's so much bigger, and it's like, it doesn't really have a personality. Like, I mean, it does have a personality, but doesn't have like a talking role, like it did in Frontier, where it just it was basically a character. It had like lines and everything. This one just kind of is like a landmass, and is just a little bit more of a character than Eldoradimon is, which I guess is fine. It's very cute though. And his head's a walnut. I don't know why I like that so much.
It's very good and I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Koshiro and Sora are looking on from above, and they discover that the forest is taking damage. Meanwhile, Hikari is almost attacked by little soot sprite looking things, and Palmon saves her, but Hikari chases after the soot sprites for reasons. And this happens like a lot through this episode. It's just Hikari chasing after things and running into direct danger. Oh. The whole time I'm just like, Hikari, why? Why do you not like living?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
And there was no character moment. There was no development. Palmon was barely necessary.
You know what? This episode would have been a better Mimi and Palmon episode.
Mm-hmm.
But they couldn't have two Mimi and Palmon episodes in a row. They had to highlight another child, kind of. But it would have made so much more sense.
It even could have been Sora, and at least we could have made something out of the whole love thing for a minute.
Yeah. And not just
literally
Hikari
all you have to do is
things.
show me. Yeah, literally all you have to do to make the love crest work is show me Sora actually does care about things. Because right now, I'm pretty sure she does not.
Yeah, like she cares about soccer. That's it.
Maybe
that's all we know about her, is that she cares about soccer. But like, I spent the whole time like wondering why this episode was about Hikari. Like it doesn't particularly, like, it was cute. Don't get me wrong. Like I did think it was cute, and I like Palmon having a sort of a character. But it just, I don't know why it was a Hikari episode. I mean, later on, we have Palmon fangirling about Petaldramon existing. Like, that's adorable. And the whole time, Palmon's...
That would have made so much sense to happen during the episode.
Yeah, and, like, Palmon is constantly afraid that she will be eaten too. And this is something that I didn't even think of. So I was surprised when the writers thought of it, is that Palmon is afraid that she'll be damaged by the things that are specifically eating forests and trees. Mm-hmm. Like, that is a great little bit of, like, extra detail there that...
Right, like...
You know, the writers didn't have to go into it.
It would have been a perfect Mimi episode. You can almost tell they wrote it as a Mimi episode at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know, there was a lot of potential in this episode, and it ended up being just the most bog standard, yep, you checked all the boxes for technically had a cohesive plot. Good for you.
Yeah, like, it's still, this episode's still better than, like, and I know we'll get into it later, but this episode's still a lot better than, like, a lot of the episodes in this season. Mm-hmm. But it's so very much just okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's there, and I really did like the references to Palmon being just a huge fan of the Petaldramon, saying, oh, it's, Petaldramon's a legend, I get to meet a legendary Digimon. She's clearly a huge fan, and then we have her mentioning she's afraid she's going to be damaged by the soot sprite things, and then later on, there's just a small bit of the animation where she jumps, like, in fear out of the way of these black bug friend things, and it's just these
no
nice little bits of
that.
detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cute little detail because she's a plant, and I really appreciated that. Like, I really appreciate that they remembered that she is the plant and nobody else is a plant in this group of friends. It's just her. And I don't know, I felt like this... It would make sense if Mimi wants to help Petaldramon because Palmon looks up to Petaldramon, and she wants to stop these soot sprite things because they're damaging plants and Palmon is her friend. It would have made so much more sense for Mimi to be running frantically through the forest and cutting her hands on trees. It was kind of just... I know that Hikari is doing it because she cares, but it just felt weird that she kept on running off for reasons.
Kinda, yeah, like, we're back to children the small children don't get personalities again, and I'm pretty upset about it. Because even in her own episode, Hikari barely got to have a personality and didn't talk to Tailmon.
Yeah, but she did have some cute moments with Petaldramon at least. Sort of.
Um,
She got
yeah,
flowers grown for her, and that was cute.
yeah. I mean, it was
Yeah.
fine. I wish I cared more about it.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I have, like, when I was done watching this episode, I was kind of like, I had no idea what to feel. Like, I had just watched an episode, but I didn't have any feelings either way. Like, I was just like, I watched an episode of Digimon. I liked that Petaldramon was in it.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't have any,
So,
like, it was a hard one for me to rate because, yep.
I'm curious, as someone who has not been following the entirety of this Digimon season, have the kids seen a Digimon, like, just straight up and die in front of them like that before?
We've had a lot of vor, less
Yeah.
dramatic sacrifice, but quite a lot of death.
I think
Yeah.
Okay.
Ogumon died.
Yep.
And even some dramatic sacrifice before as well?
Oh yeah, several times.
Okay, because I was thinking that
Yeah.
might have been like a big like character moment for someone that was like, oh, this is the first time they've actually seen someone who is in the right still lose.
Yeah, like
Um,
it's the first time that happened to Hikari in particular, I guess. But
Yeah,
Well,
but
but-
the
so,
exact same.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Didn't the exact same thing happen in the Lemon debut episode where we just had? I mean, this time it was robots turning into plants. This time it's plants turning into plants, but it's the same cinematic choice of they're just like, oh, that's a landmass now.
yep,
It's the same.
yeah. Well, and
Like,
it's the floating island.
Mhm.
Why can't I think of the name? Eldoradimon.
Yeah, it's very Alderadimon and also the Lilymon debut episode, which I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of. Yep, it's Gardromon as a plant. I'm just posting it in Discord.
We basically just killed Petaldramon off in the same episode so that we wouldn't have to Eldoradimon it.
Yeah.
And
Mind you, I'm just looking at the
Whirlpool.
screenshot. Yeah, I'm just looking at this screenshot, which is still uploading to Discord because hotspotting off my phone, and it's a 3 megabyte screenshot. But it's just a better, it's a better drawn version of what we have with Entmon and Petaldramon. Like,
Yeah.
it's just exactly the same.
Yeah,
I mean,
which
I-
is, I
I
guess,
still think it's
probably
cute.
part of why it's a good thing. It's probably slightly better that it's not a mini episode, seeing as they did exactly the same cinematic choice. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's also another case of the writers must either really like Studio Ghibli or just keep on making similar
I was gonna
choices
say like this
to...
Yeah.
really turned into Ghibli for a minute, and
Yeah,
then
it's
kept
My Neighbour
doing it.
Totoro.
It was really the whole I was gonna say
Small
it's like
girl,
what if Kiki
soot
didn't
sprites.
care about things?
No, it's also just like we had May in My Neighbour Totoro who just chased after random things she shouldn't chase after and also befriend a giant monster.
Yeah.
Like, it's My Neighbour Petaldramon. It's just, it's the same thing. And also a little bit Howl's Moving Castle because it's the moving forest. It's
I was
Hikari's
gonna
moving
say
forest.
Hikari is what happens in Kiki's delivery service if Kiki doesn't go into the forest and meet a lesbian and just stays boring forever.
Yeah. There's so many Ghibli movies that just have, like, just forest lesbians.
I know it's goals.
Yeah, like, I think everyone wants to find their own forest lesbian.
Some of us want to be
Who
the forest
motivates
lesbian,
character
okay?
change. Yeah, that is true. I like that. But yeah, so just it's the whole time I'm just like getting some Ghibli vibes, and I feel like
Does she,
I've had Ghibli vibes for a few episodes.
Live in the forest.
Yeah, is she a forest witch? But anyway, it's just a thing. So we have Hikari finding a whole bunch of these soot sprites, and then Petaldramon's vines seem to protect her, and then this is the part where Palmon's afraid that she'll be damaged too, and I'm just really surprised to have that brought up. Like, it was just, hey, the writers paid attention, and I didn't even consider that Palmon would be in danger because selective damage, I guess, but no, Palmon is worried about being in danger, and that's kind of, like, reasonable. I like that. And then Hikari introduces herself to the vines, because of course she does. And then some adorable Puamon who evolve into Falcomon from Savers, and a Muchomon who is another Digimon that's been around since the late 90s, but has barely ever been in anything. Was like in Digimon World and in the card game, and that's about it. And a few virtual pets, but yeah, not that much. So really nice to see. And they say that it's Petaldramon, and Palmon knows a Petaldramon. Tailmon answers for her. Like, it's so weird. It feels like Palmon's like, oh my gosh, it's Petaldramon, oh, it's Petaldramon. And then they say, who's Petaldramon? And Tailmon answers. It feels weird.
strange.
It's like Tailmon's like, my episode. Yeah. And Palmon's just excited that she gets to meet a legend. Then, since the Puamon and Muchamon run off, Agumon, Gomon, and Gabumon are chasing them, and they find out that they were worried that the chosen children were dangerous and they were bad guys. And we find out that they're refugees who were attacked by the Soot Sprites in their original forest, and then they say that there was a much larger Digimon which Petaldramon fought with, and Palmon is just mad. And it's just... they keep on having Palmon, like, pipe up in this episode, and it's very much... This should have been a Palmon episode. It would make so much more sense. If this was a Mimi and Palmon episode, it would be a 5.
I believe it was written as a Mimi and Palmon episode, and just... They were, I guess, too lazy to rewrite the dialogue well, and just left Palmon. It's a really weird choice.
But if they didn't have the Palmon dialogue, I think I would probably not like this episode as much, because it would take away a bit of the world building.
Well,
like,
what
it would
you'd
just
need to
feel
do would be
empty.
do something involving Tailmon's memories, maybe? You'd have to actually care enough to write some plot, because Tailmon literally
just be lazy
only
and
exists to do the plot.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's why she evolves from Plotmon. But the thing is, it would if they could even be lazy with it and just animate like a flashback of Hikari watering a succulent, and then she went on school camp. Or, well, no, not even succulent, maybe just a normal plant. Just have her watering a plant, and then she goes on camp and then forgets about it or something because she's sick or whatever. And then the plant dies, and ever since then, she's like been worried about dying plants. Make it something lazy like that with flashbacks, like the show has done for a few episodes. And you've got yourself an episode where Hikari has a character, but the whole episode, it just felt like it was meant to be a Mimi and Palmon episode. And when I said that I'd give this episode a 5 if it had Mimi and Palmon as the focus, it's not just because I like Mimi and Palmon. It just would have made sense.
Yeah.
Like, to have them as characters. Why does Hikari care so much? I get that she's caring, but why is she caring? Why is she more caring than any of the other characters? Yeah, but Tuckaroo is also Jesus. Why doesn't he care? He has no personality in this episode.
Because it's not his turn.
Yeah.
It's Hikari's turn, and she has no personality this episode.
But it makes no sense that...
Mimi is carrying a purse made of leaves right now.
Like, the most I care about Hikari in this entire episode is in the preview for the next episode, where she appears to be cosplaying as Lilymon.
Yes!
Yeah, that was cool.
Right? If you'd done that episode first, I would have had that make a lot more sense, and I would think Hikari maybe cares about plants slightly.
But why is she cosplaying as Lilymon is my
biggest question. I don't know,
question.
but I want to know. but I don't care why, because I'll love it.
But the next episode is clearly a Yamato episode. Why is she dressing as Lilymon? Is it just another Mimi episode disguised as another character's episode?
I think if the ending credits can tell us anything, it's that they only know how to write Mimi episodes.
This whole show is just like, the writers really just like Mimi and Studio Ghibli films, and every week I'm just like, am I the writer? Like, I like Mimi and Studio Ghibli films. Like, is this just me?
No, you're not the writer. You're the intern whose ideas keep getting stolen.
Yeah, I'm just
but then they don't turn out so well.
What if they just read some, like, me ranting about Studio Ghibli in one Twitter post, and then me ranting about Mimi being best girl in another Twitter post, and they just combined those and were like, hey, that's a season of Digimon right there.
They're using a May chatbot as a writer. I got it.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. And that's just my headcanon now. But I like to think I could probably come up with better ideas in these episodes, but also I'm not a writer, so probably not. Though, the Falling from the Sky episode's still pretty bad.
Yeah,
anyway,
if the bar is cleared that, I think I could manage it.
Yeah, if the goal is write better than that episode, that's an easy goal. If it's like write better than the episodes we've given 4.5s to or 5s to, then no, I can't do that.
I think I can do better than the worst. I might be able to manage a mediocre.
Yeah, I just want the adventures of Mimi and Palmon, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotten to the point that
Or,
Okay,
frankly, at this
yes, I'm
point, please
biased,
can I have the adventures of Sora and Biomon?
but make them good, like give them characters.
Yeah.
Like, show us the angry Sora that we saw in the intro.
hmm That's what I'm saying. Sora could have been the one who carried this week, and I don't know, had
Yeah,
to
but they
worry about
don't.
setting things on fire or something.
Yeah.
A thing we could
Because
choose to care about.
only Garudamon can cause and stop forest fires. Anyway, so we have Palmon being mad, and then I'm just sitting here thinking, this episode is still technically about Vor, because Petaldramon is a Digimon, and Petaldramon is being still eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So even when they're not doing Vor, they're doing Vor.
All of the kids ate its berries.
They're
they
weirdly
living
phallic
void.
berries. What
Yeah,
was that?
It was
Yeah.
very strange.
I thought they were a cross between, like, you know how peaches look a little bit like bottoms? Like, I think it
Yeah.
was just a cross between a peach and some berries.
And a cherry.
New slang
or
for
something.
genitals, by the way, is peach and berries. I'm saying it right now. But but those berries also
It
look
had
kind of
some
tasty.
real Willy Wonka, like, this is what a schnozberry looks like.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the
It
willy.
wasn't explicit, but it felt like I shouldn't be looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I still liked, and I like that Agumon wanted to eat them because that's Agumon's character now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Taichi, the brain of the group, realizes that the black bugs are being sent from the bigger Digimon as an attack, and it's weird that that wasn't Koshiro's line, but whatever. Then Hikari runs off again, and Palmon chases her, and Hikari thanks Petaldramon for saving her and says that she wants to help Petaldramon. Then Petaldramon grows flowers that heal Hikari's wounds. This power never is really relevant again, so just ignore that. And then the flowers then become food for the Chosen, and Palmon allows them to have a little bit of filler as a treat again by saying that they're on their way to Farga and should have some plot, but rest is important. And I feel like that's just, it's so funny. This episode both has, hey, we should split up, and Talmon saying, okay, we can have a filler episode now. And it's just,
Yeah,
they're
remember when
both things that I
Palmon
joke
did
about.
literally this, with the underwater episode?
Yep.
Like, we've already done exactly this plot beat of, okay, fine, I guess we're allowed to have filler. Why do we keep asking Palmon?
Yeah, we keep on getting filler as a treat. And mind you, the filler episodes have had more characters than any of the actual plot episodes. If you think about it, the plot episodes were like the Dun Devimon arc, where we didn't even, so forgettable. Like, what happened in that? Takaru came to the digital world, and there were some boats, and Taichi got bored. That's it.
Yep. Taichi got bored and kind of forgot about it. Also, Mom has not been heard from in like 20 episodes.
Yeah, no one's thought of their parents for a while, and I know that it's Digimon, and they don't think about their parents a lot when they're in the digital world, but it is kind of weird.
It's a lot at this point after we did set up, oh, by the way, I'm from Koshiro, and I don't know, we set up the picture of Takaru's family on episode 1.
Yeah, it's weird. There are some
Wow.
weird things going on. Like, the season, people have said, has
Hi,
pacing
8-year-olds.
problems
Do you
from
remember
episode
this
3.
plot beat that we seeded 60 weeks ago, I guess?
Oh, it was so long ago since it started like the first week of April last year.
Uh-huh.
And
Wow.
now we're in April this year. This season goes forever, and we're still like 22 episodes away from finishing. Oh my gosh, we're still going to be doing this in 22 weeks. At least, unless if they'll probably have like another holiday or so, because I think there are a couple holidays that are usually...
At a minimum, Golden Week, I would think.
Yeah, I was about to say Golden Week, but I can't remember when Golden Week is.
I
think that's May, right?
1st to 5th, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, like, usually they take off Golden Week, so we have... Oh my gosh, we have another, like, 6 months.
Yeah, no, my mom asked me that the other day, like, how long do you have to keep getting up at 4 in the morning? I'm like, only 6 more months.
Oh my gosh, like, I like this show, I'm enjoying it, but oh my gosh, why is there so much? Like,
Well,
I never
so
felt that way
little.
with Atmon. Like, with Atmon, it was always like, oh no, it's ending. This is like, oh my gosh, it's ending in like 20 weeks. I'm gonna die.
No, like,
But
I cared about Millennium Mon briefly, but I sure don't anymore.
that was
We've
4
spent-
months, that was almost 4 months ago.
Uh-huh. That we've spent traveling
because we-
from one place to another place. But, like, it's not on a map, I can't see how close we are.
we're just taking Talmon's word for it that we're on the way.
Yep.
Oh
And
my
now
gosh.
Koshiro's map helps, I guess.
Yep, but only when it's relevant. I don't know.
But only
Anyway.
after you buy the product placement.
Yeah, you have to have the product placement for the VB first. Anyway, so then the big Digimon attacks with a whole bunch of these soot sprites, which I'm going to just keep on calling soot sprites, because they're not actually individual Digimon, they're just his attack, which I kind of wish it was a Digimon, like, I'm just going to keep on calling them soot sprites, even if they have a canon name, they're just soot sprites from Ghibli.
That's valid.
I love them. They're kind of adorable, though.
Yeah, they're
Anyway,
the evil
so-
version of the soot sprites.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're still adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Agumon evolves with the dumb and honestly completely out of place evolution sequence. It looks so weird to have one Digimon evolve. Like, it's not even Gabumon gets it as well this time. It's just like Agumon evolves with this dumb out of place animation, and then the other Digimon just seem to evolve during this time, because when we
They're just
flash back
there.
to...
Yep.
They're just there, except for Pegasusmon, where Takaru just says, Pegasusmon!
Yep.
And I guess it's to highlight that he's choosing to use Pegasusmon instead of Angemon,
Which is
guess.
cool
I
and
think
interesting if I thought anyone else could do that.
yeah, I just wanted to see Ponchomon again.
Yeah, same.
No, they even
Didn't...
explicitly called out last episode, oh, by the way, this won't happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did the same to Blitzgreymon, and I'm fairly confident we'll see Blitzgreymon again. I mean, have we even seen Wargreymon again?
Since the last time they said, we'll see you again, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
thinking we're probably not going to get Wargreymon again until pretty near the end, and then we're going to go into Omegamon again.
Yep. And we're just... It's still weird to me that they go and evolve to adult. Like, it just feels weird to me that they're not evolving to their highest form. They're just... And keep in mind, Talmon is an adult the entire time.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
the
only
weirdest
choose to
part.
evolve to adult. Like, they don't try to evolve to perfect.
I thought
Like,
at
it's
least
weird.
when Hikari was, being weird and running toward danger repeatedly, we were getting an alternate for Tailmon, and then no.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get something like maybe Nefertimon or something. I don't know.
Literally just
Because
something.
then Hikari can travel on Nefertimon's back and join in the battle. I don't know.
Or give
like,
me a new one.
I
Give
thought
me
they were
something
doing that.
new, please.
Yeah, like Ponchomon I consider as a new thing because Palmon hasn't actually evolved to Ponchomon before, even though Ponchomon as a Digimon does exist and has been seen in
It's
things.
a new evolution
Ponchomon
line. Like, that's...
Yeah, for Palmon, yeah.
I was certainly taken by surprise by it.
Yeah, I still think that that's fantastic
That's
doing
great.
that, by the way. Like, because I didn't even know. Like, if you can surprise someone who is involved in all aspects of the Digimon franchise,
I still
like the
say
virtual
we
pets as
need
well.
a Betsumon episode.
Oh, imagine if Tailmon evolves into Betsumon, though.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Just give me
Yeah.
an oh my gosh, there's a distortion episode, and you just have to fight as Betsumon.
That would have been so good last episode, though. I mean, I know that
Right?
the Tailmon becomes just a cat was great, but if Tailmon just became some guy in a Tailmon suit, that'd be disturbing, but
so good.
fantastic.
Do the
I'm
same
easily impressed, though.
actions and acting, just is guy in a Tailmon suit acting like a cat.
That would be so creepy, though.
Oh god, it'd
Anyway,
be so good.
so-
The worst.
Away from that vague creepiness, we have Entmon being revealed. So this is the giant Digimon. And this is another new Digimon design from the Digimon Pendulum Z. So this is a brand new Digimon, like, as of, like, the release in March. So this Digimon, brand new to be seen in animation and just even more horrifying than I thought. Like, well done. Well done. I like this horrific,
pretty great.
scary monster. It's just...
This whole
it's also
episode had
weirdly-
some real Lord of
yep.
the Rings vibes, because we literally got an Ent, and Hikari did "You shall not pass" to him.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
weird.
oh, you see if I see a point. Yeah, there are a lot of weird dips into other franchises in this episode.
There sure were.
You're right.
I feel weird saying this, but I feel like I just didn't understand Entmon's motivations as a character.
Entmon
you know?
didn't. Yeah,
Oh, he's
Entmon was evil.
He's just the evil. He's the big bad this
Yeah.
episode? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, some Digimon you have to understand are evil, and it's okay to kill them. They generally don't talk.
Valid.
I think that
that's how you
at
know
one
it's
point
okay
there
to
was like
kill
a line
someone.
about
They can't talk.
Well, Petaldramon didn't talk.
But
I
That's
guess
true.
then that's why we
yeah,
killed
but
him.
he gave berries.
Mhm.
He bloomed flowers. But wasn't there a line about like not all battles are light versus dark? This was just like a
Something like
predatory
that.
thing.
Yeah, and this was basically just oh, by the way, there's still natural selection, except, I don't know, Petaldramon decided to do a heroic sacrifice.
Yeah, and Hikari likes a good sacrifice.
Apparently. Enough so much,
So-
like, Angelomon did not help. Could have, chose not to.
I was under the impression that Angelomon is what caused Petaldramon to have the power to sacrifice into forest.
Maybe? That was,
I thought
like...
Petaldramon
Kind of
was
seemed
honestly
like
going to evolve.
She enabled that.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get an evolution or
Yeah, that's what I would've
something,
thought.
and no, it was
Yeah.
Nope, it's
Petaldramon
just-
evolved to
I've
an entire
overcharged you so you
forest.
can
Die.
die into a forest now.
Angelomon just
Petaldramon was like,
straight up
"Guess I'll
killed
die now."
Petaldramon.
Yes.
Yeah, like
And then Hikari was like, "Oh no, you're right. Don't help."
yeah, it's just a flesh wound. Like we don't know that Petaldramon could have just survived that, but definitely didn't after Angelomon was done.
Petaldramon used to be an adventurer like you. Then they took an arrow to the knee.
And like an alien-esque scorpion tail thing. That was horrifying, by the
Yeah,
way.
That
through
was
the
so
heart.
wild.
I was actually
Yeah,
kind of
Petaldramon's
shocked
death
to
was just-
see that.
That was like fairly gory without like the actual gore.
Yeah,
It was slightly hardcore for this
Like,
children's Ghibli show.
we're impaling this live
Yeah.
monster that you sympathize with in front of you. It
It's
was a
so
lot.
much. Especially because
Yeah, I
like
liked
they
it,
spent
though.
the first half of the episode kind of poorly animating Petaldramon. Like,
Oh my God.
anytime the walnut head move was surprisingly poorly done.
It was just dragging the selection in MS Paint.
Yeah, a little bit. It
Yeah.
was very weird.
But that happens whenever they have a big Digimon. It's just kind of like, I'm going to say it's sort of a little bit Evangelion when they just have the giant ever go, "Ah," being big. Like,
Honestly,
that's
this,
kind of the
this
thing.
had more Godzilla vibes to it by the end.
That's what I was
Well,
going to say.
yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but Godzilla vs. Kong just came out, and this episode was also Godzilla vs. Kong. But when they were
Possibly.
made
I
out
also
of
haven't
plants.
seen it, but I'd believe it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I probably should, because I like
I was
movies.
just
but...
thinking giant monsters fighting as environmental metaphor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot of Digimon, though.
It sure is.
Like, I want them to go back to the human world and have Digimon fights in Tokyo again. Like, I really just like that in Digimon.
We seem very averse to having actual humans die, but we're really into making death a theme this episode, or this season, so that's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, have Digimon been in the real world, like the actual real world?
No, they've affected the real world, but like
Yeah.
they've so far at least had to do things like bring the ISS down on Tokyo via causing a bunch of satellites to ram into it simultaneously, like totally works.
Yep, that's definitely a thing.
Wow, what a good plan that
But,
was.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have Togemon being terrified because she's made out of plants, and that's just a quick, like, little bit of an animation, which is fantastic. Big fan of that. And then we have Entmon just piercing Petaldramon with his claws, and then adding in the, as I mentioned before, the alien-esque sort of mouth thing from his tail, and that pierces through the body and kind of kills them incredibly dramatically. And then Hikari, guess what, runs off again. And she does what the show loves to have the 8-year-old do, and just run in front of the big giant bad guy. And I thought she was just going to say Yamete, because Takaru didn't speak this episode, because she ran up and then just like skidded on the ground and was like dramatic, and I was like, oh no, don't say it. And she didn't. She instead
Yeah, no, you're not.
She
you're not wrong. She really should have said Yamate. It would have been so funny. Holy crap!
She just burst into tears and said Tailmon instead, and then
said
Tailmon
Oni-chan.
evolves into Angelomon. Yeah, which is just like Hikari's version of a Nichan is Tailmon, because
You know what?
she
That's
has an older
accurate.
brother,
She does not have an older
but
brother.
she hasn't. Has she even spoken to Taichi?
I don't think
They
so.
might have exchanged a word. this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
I think
word.
Taichi
How-
said something to Hikari, but I don't know that Hikari acknowledged it. She's freezing him out. They're not on speaking terms right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just did something happen behind the scenes?
Hmm?
Anyway,
I don't know. It's the same
so-
reason that Mom forgot they exist. Hikari just can't
Yeah.
remember she has an older brother,
Mhm.
even when he's right there.
Maybe
It's very sad.
Maybe it's an effect of the digital world. Who knows?
It's all the homeostasis that's still around, I guess.
Yeah. Also, is this just the second time we've seen Angelwoman happen, and
That
she
sounds
doesn't
right.
even fight?
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I feel like
She released the golden
I don't know.
Digi eggs.
yeah, it's very specific, and
kill
then we
Petaldramon.
have which is kind of sad. So
Yeah, but
Angelwoman
it's
gives
important to
Petaldramon.
note that
Oh.
gives Petaldramon a fatal boost, then refuses to help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it flies, literally just ollies outie and flies off, picking up Hikari, and Hikari's like, this is Petaldramon's flight, and then
Yeah.
they just stop helping.
Does not attack Entmon, just overpowers Petaldramon until it dies, and then just says, "This isn't our business."
Doesn't
Why
even
would
fight, just
Petaldramon
sort
do
of
this?
glows.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Anyway, so Petaldramon and Antemon both die and become the green landmass, which then sprouts Petaldramon's pink flowers, and then that's the episode. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the encyclopedia and we learn about Bergamon, and then Koshiro just says how some people like burgers with pickles and how Bergamon's pickles are great too, and it just sounds so weird.
It's a
And
lot.
next time we're learning about Metal Garurumon, so I guess that's happening now. Alright, discussion time. What were our highlights?
Petaldramon was surprisingly great.
Yeah, I love
I
Petaldramon. I just loved Petaldramon in Frontier.
Mm-hmm. I was a little sad they didn't have Petaldramon, talk and be the same Petaldramon, but can't have everything.
Petaldраmon's
Yeah,
mouth really annoyed me. I don't like how its mouth works, but other than that,
Do you
I
wa-
actually
do you
really
want
liked
to
the design of
fight?
its head.
Why is no one talking about the mouthfeel? I'm sorry.
That is some definite mouthfeel. I'm just posting a tweet that I put on Twitter, as I do, in the Discord chat, which is one I posted just a little bit after watching the episode. And it's got screenshots from Frontier as well, where Petaldramon just really likes burgers, and I feel like that's why Bergamon was in the end of the episode bit of the encyclopedia part, just because Bergamon was in the Petaldramon episode of Frontier, and Petaldramon is in this episode, and Bergamon was in the encyclopedia. So I feel like that isn't... that must be a reference, right?
It definitely could be.
Like, that whole episode was just, in Frontier, was just Petaldramon likes eating burgers, and Bergamon are making burgers for Petaldramon.
Yeah.
That makes sense, and as long as we're just going through Digimon that don't appear in this episode, might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, I did
Hikari's
like
twig
Petaldramon
legs
from
were a
Frontier.
highlight for me.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, I
Her
also
weird little noodle
tweeted about
legs.
that her legs don't make sense. Like, how is she supporting her weight?
They just bend.
They
way too
don't
many
make
places, and I
sense
hate it.
even in, even ignoring that, they don't make sense in reference to the size of her pant legs.
Or her shoes. How are her feet
Or anything.
that big when her
Does
knees
Hikari
are
have
that
anorexia?
small? Yeah. Like, I'm worried
Like, I'm
now.
literally
it's-
kind of worried about Hikari.
Yeah, it's just, and it's like Tuckeru's head and tiny neck. It's just, there's some weird
They
proportions
don't
going
know
on in
how
this show.
children. Which
I
is
don't
weird,
remember the original
because
having this
that's your
problem.
whole job, is to draw children.
There was an interesting point
But,
towards the beginning
yeah, I
of the
just-
episode where I think it was when they were first seeing the little dust mite mons or whatever. I totally am forgetting their names, but
The soot sprites.
the soot sprites, yeah. But like Hikari was just seeing them in 4 different bushes in front of her, and I thought Hikari was just somehow causing that to happen. I was like, why does Hikari just hate this forest so much?
God,
so-
I wish it had been that.
Yeah, that was a
Hikari
weird.
Yeah,
giveth and
Hikari-
Hikari taketh away.
Yeah.
Hikari doesn't actually want to help Petaldramon. Hikari wants to murder Petaldramon, and that's why Angelwoman did it.
hmm
Oh, that's a thing.
Hikari caused Entmon.
That's the fan theory that one day one of the show writers will confirm.
Entmon can't melt steel beams.
Jeez, that is an old meme. But yeah, I liked this episode. I liked Petaldramon, but I don't have that many highlights about this episode.
Yeah.
It was almost a
Like-
really good episode.
Oh yeah,
There's
all
a
it
lot
was
of
almost
potential
a
that
good
just
episode.
never really went anywhere, which is kind of the whole season.
A
Yeah,
lot of
I feel like-
yeah, a lot of this season, but it was still better than a lot of this season. Like I still feel like it
Mhm.
ranks in the probably upper middle.
Yeah.
And honestly, at
Like,
least for
it's
me, my
definitely
frame of
better.
reference now is the Epic Rap Battles of History episode, which was excellent. So everything is just kind of paling in comparison for a while.
That seems
Yeah,
fair.
but yeah, so any other highlights?
Not really. I have a lot of specific criticisms and then generally can say, yeah, but on the whole, it was, average-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to move on to lowlights?
Sure.
Lowlights. I think my only lowlight to reference is really the fact that it was kind of weird that Hikari just ran off. I get that she's caring. I get that she's a nice person, but even then, it still felt weird. Like, why specifically her?
Yeah, they
It
did
just-
not
it felt
do
weird.
enough to make this a Hikari episode,
Mhm.
and at the end of it, I still don't know why Hikari cared about this Digimon in particular.
Yes.
And we have not been saying the names of the crests, and I guess I don't think we're going to, but we at least seem to have
Except
tried.
for Koshiro.
Yeah, but for the most part, we seem to have tried to, do an episode where someone displays their crest now and again. And I guess Light is just cares about people and doesn't care about danger.
Mhm.
And that's
And doesn't
pretty
care about
terrible.
their friends, just runs away from them without saying a word.
Yeah. Is willing to sacrifice others for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little much. It's weird.
I would like
Yeah.
to point out as a low light some of the at least wonky, if not kind of just bad animation throughout.
Yeah.
This episode had very inconsistent animation.
Yeah,
There
and
were parts that were really quite well done, but
I apologize because I don't remember the name of any Digimon, but when I think it was Sora
That's
was
fair.
flying on Moltres' leg, Sora was animated to be
Moltres?
flapping in the wind, but the bird was just a still image. And it's like, come on.
yeah, that happens.
Why is this?
and yeah, it was just very rushed, clearly animation wise, which I don't care that much about, but it showed a lot.
Mm-hmm. The part where, stumbling forward through the thick leaves, pushing handfuls aside
Oh,
that
yeah.
just materialize. That was pretty excellent.
Yeah. But also, at one point, the leaves looked fine that she was pushing through, and then another point, they looked terrible. But
Yeah.
again, I can't really...
There were
I can't really
keyframes
fault
that
it.
were fine, but none of them stitched together to anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was like she was pushing through badly animated leaves to well-animated leaves to bad ones again. She was like, oh, look, these ones are good. Oh, no, these ones are bad. Oh, these ones are good. It was just funny.
Yeah, well, I think there was literally just a background layer that they were doing in a loop, and then they put good leaves over it anytime her hand appeared.
Yep.
Yeah.
The camera hand started moving backward. They just materialized the good leaves in front of it.
Yeah. Not the
I mean,
evil
hey,
leaves, though.
I gotta give them, it's better than I could do, but still.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not an
for
artist.
Better than I can do, though.
I can probably draw stick figures, but just not well. I
Mm-hmm.
can barely write my own name.
Same.
What a mood.
That's how you know
other
you're queer.
lowlights? Yeah, or just a millennial. I don't think a millennial has... Like, we're of the age where you still had pen licenses in school, but also of the age where the pen license
What?
stopped mattering.
A what?
You didn't have pen licenses?
I don't think that's a thing in America.
What is
Okay.
this
in
thing that
Austra-
you're
in
saying?
Okay, in Australia, in about year 4, I think, maybe year 2, I can't remember. I just know that one of my parents was my teacher, my mum was my year 2 teacher, and my dad was my year 4 teacher, and I can't remember which one was... I just know a parent was my teacher.
Wow.
But
That's a horrible
around
idea.
that time... Yeah, horrible idea, especially for mine. But anyway, so around that age, you are writing with pencils until then. And then it's so stupid when I actually think about it, but when your writing in cursive gets good enough, you are given a pen license, which is basically a little piece of paper that
Exactly
says you
what
can
it
now
sounds
write
like.
with a pen.
Oh my god.
And I never got my pen license. And I'm not sure if it's because my parents were my teachers, or if my handwriting was just shocking, or both. But also, but by the time I had finished my primary schooling, they had forgotten about the pen licenses, so I could just write illegally. And also, in high school, nobody cared. But that's the
can't
thing
do pen
in
crimes.
Australia schools. Yeah, so I do pen crimes whenever I write with a pen now. I think about it probably more often than I should because I was
That's
in primary
amazing.
school
I
in
wish
the
I
early...
were doing pen crimes.
I wish I had
I'm
a
always
story
doing
that
pen
cool.
crimes.
Oh my god.
Like, at the same time, I still kind of wish I got a pen license. Because can somebody please create me a pen license? Just, like, use my profile picture and then just say, this is to certify that May from LostinTranslationmon has their pen license. Just do something. Make
That'd
it
be
look
really
as
good.
90s or early 2000s as possible. Because
Oh,
I have
God.
never... I just can't... So this is just a weird Australian thing?
As far as I know,
There's nothing like
it
that
might
here.
also be a weird UK thing. We'd have to ask Evie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Also, while we're on the topic of weird things, we also got taught sex ed and drug ed and alcohol ed by a giraffe in a van.
I mean, the fact that you were taught them at all was already surprising.
Yeah,
but
I was actually gonna say, wow, so progressive
And-
of them.
Also, it's still around to this day. Like it's been around since like the 80s, and it's still around like now. And also, his
what a
girl-
hard left that sentence took right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
like also so his name was Harold, right? I proposed to him. He said yes. We're technically engaged, I guess. I was 8, and then that was my fairy beginning. Anyway, so his Harold actually has a girlfriend, and I think her name is, and I'm it sounds like I'm making this up, but I promise you I'm not. She is like one of those educational like bodies, right, where you kind of have like you lift it up and you can take out the livers and like the stomachs and everything. And
she's a
and
mannequin.
yeah, no, she's one of those educational like science mannequins. And
Yeah.
I promise you I'm not making this up, but her name is Tammy the Torso.
That's
Wow,
pretty good.
and Harold
and
two-timing
because-
on Tammy
No,
with
no,
a
they're
with
poly,
a man.
it's fine.
I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's really
That's
funny
low.
because okay, it's a van, right? The like they come in this van, right? They come to each school and they go school to school and they're in a van. And I think New Zealand has it too. So maybe there's a boat involved. I don't
feel
know,
like
but they travel
approaching
on a
children
van.
with a van is sending the wrong message already. But okay,
It's a white van without windows.
Oh my god.
It's definitely creepy, and he teaches you about drugs and alcohol and sex.
Do
Anyway,
as I say,
so
not as I do.
but no, seriously, the best part of this is the fact that since it's a van, one time when they opened up the cupboard that Tammy the Torso lives in, she had clearly come loose in the journey, and all her organs just went flying everywhere.
God.
And then, without missing a beat, the lady with her hand inside of Harold the because he was a puppet, said, "And that's why we don't do drugs." It's the funniest bit of weird primary school trauma that's there, is Tammy Torso's body just flying out. Anyway, is Australia even a real place? It has pen licenses and Harold the giraffe who teaches us about sex. But
Excuse me.
I'm
Wacky
sorry.
place.
Everyone
Anyway,
wants to kill
I'm
you.
leaving
You
that-
get your sex ed from giraffes in unmarked white vans.
And you get your pen license.
And you need a license to use a pen.
It's a weird country. I don't think, like, part of me's with the flat earthers on this. Australia doesn't exist.
That makes sense.
I'm leaving this in, by the way. I'm leaving in this in the edited version because everybody needs to know what an
Please take out my
unusual
cough,
place
but
Australia
otherwise,
is.
yeah, hell yeah.
I will try to do my best because I will not silence my own voice. But
Oh, that's
anyway,
fine, just-
Australia, yeah, Australia, weird place. Anyway, who were our favourite characters? Because mine was Petaldramon on the basis that I can't say Palmon because I feel like I picked Palmon last episode. Mimi didn't talk that much. Petaldramon was just there and is an option. Quinn, who are we picking?
It's hard to say. See, I'm into territory where I'm tempted to pick an inanimate object, and that sucks. But I guess I'll say Palmon.
Well, that's fair. And also, I would argue that Petaldramon is almost an inanimate object. Chloe,
You're-
do you have any emotions about
My-
favourite character, not in general?
For this episode, I'm honestly gonna say Sora because her look at the beginning of the episode just kind of summed up the episode for me.
Oh yeah, it
It's
was
a
a bit
really
of a
good
mood.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Evie, who also says that Palmon. So I'm glad I didn't pick Palmon because everyone else, like both Evie and Quinn, both picked Palmon. So I'm different. So Chloe and I are
good.
different. But also I really like Petaldramon. So
Yeah,
what
Petaldramon
about
is
our
now
rating?
an inanimate object. So I guess I wish I'd picked
Yeah.
Petaldramon.
Yeah, you're right. Basically became a forest.
Wow.
So yeah, the forest.
Jeez.
Which I think you actually, Quinn actually did pick a forest at one point as an inanimate object. I'm gonna say episode yes, in episode 30, Quinn's favorite character was the asbestos
called it.
rainforest. So I guess that was also my pick for this episode. For rating, this was a hard one to rate. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5, but I feel like that's too generous.
Yeah, I was torn between... I couldn't decide anywhere between a 2.5 and a 3.5, so I guess I'm gonna call it a 3.
Yeah, that is fair.
This
Like,
is on a 5-point scale?
yeah, it's a 5-point
yeah.
scale. What about you, Chloe?
I'd give it just like a 2.5. It felt very middle of the road for me.
Yeah, that is reasonable. Meanwhile, we have Evie, who also gives it a 3.5. So that means that, oh golly, it's a tie with literally every episode we thought was okay. It's as we've given it a 10. It's like overall it's a 10. So the last episode we gave a 10 to was episode 41, which is... There are so many episodes in this show. I can't believe we have like 22 episodes to go. What episode did I say? 41. That was Mon Park in the Fog, which was the Takaru and Yamato episode. And episode 37 and 36 were also 10s. So... Did we like this episode more or less than Operation Satellite Sniper, which is the Blitzgreymon episode, and Mon Park in the Fog, which is the episode where we get Takaru being vored?
I guess so.
Yeah, I think I liked it more, but it's a really hard one to place because it's just so there. So I'm going to say more because I don't really have that many complaints for it, but I don't have much to say about it in general. Like, it's definitely an episode that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen the
So
satellite
where did
one,
I put...
but based off of what I remember about the Haunted Carnival one, like, the good news is that y'all are being pretty consistent in your scoring, because those feel pretty equivalently good to me.
Yeah, I don't think I've been consistent, but I think everyone else has. I like too much. But yeah, I'm going... So, in my ranking, I have it in... I literally just had it... Okay, I put it in 19th place, so it's, like, just in the upper middle. So it's below episode 40, Strike the Killer Shot, and above episode 41, Mon Park in the Fog, which my brain almost keeps on saying Mon Park in the Frog, which is a completely different thing. But anyway, so I'm just going to put it, like... Yeah. Quinn, where are you putting this in your ranking?
So I'll have you figure out the number, but between 40 and 27. So right in the middle.
Yep, that's fine. That's as soon as you said 40, my eyes magically found it. So
Perfect.
Go me not struggling. However, I now have to struggle to find the episode title, which I just put down. There we are. So that is 25th. So lower middle, but still like a reasonable place for it to live. Then we have Evie, who also puts this in 19th place. So just below episode 39, which is Jargamon's Potato Hell. So basically this episode is very much... I think I even said at the start, I think it's just going to be in the middle of the ranking. Like, or in the middle-ish part.
It's the most average. Yeah.
Which I guess is good. Like, I know I say this all the time, but if this is like... I usually say this with the good episodes, if this is as bad as we're going to get. If like this is as bad as we're going to get, this season still has promise.
Yeah, fair.
Like, I don't want... If any other episodes fall anywhere below this, it's going to be disappointing. But I want the next 22 episodes to be above this episode, and I don't think that's an impossible ask, because the last episode that was...
Yeah,
that,
I don't think it's a realistic ask, but I don't think it's an impossible one.
Like, the last chunk of episodes have been in like the
Pretty
upper
okay.
middle area, at least for
That's
me.
fair.
Like, they've been decent, which is nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we move on to questions, just quickly we will go over Evie's evals. So Evie says that this episode was pretty decent. She liked the giant kaiju fight, especially when Entomon impaled Petaldramon. That was heavy. Hikari was cute, but basically just did a nice Satoru impression. And yeah, basically, she just was missing saying Yamete. And Evie says she was sad the Soot Sprites aren't really official Digimon. And yeah, I agree. I kind of loved the Soot Sprites. I'm glad we're just all calling them Soot Sprites now, by the way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's what they are.
Yep. It's really clear
and
where
they
they got the inspiration.
Like, this whole episode was just Studio Ghibli. Like, I feel like it couldn't just not be, right?
It definitely seemed pretty Ghibli influenced.
Yeah. Like, it just made me really want to watch Ghibli movies again. Like, I still need to show Ghibli movies to my partner, because he previously, before meeting me, had only seen Howl's Moving Castle. And then we went to Japan, we went to the Ghibli Museum, because I really liked the Ghibli Museum. And I've been there before, but I wanted to go there again. And
they were closed when I was there. It was awful.
Oh, really? I booked like months in advance because you have to.
Yeah.
And I booked for Christmas Day and we magically got in, but it was really hard to get tickets because everyone else was also booking, but we managed. Anyway, my partner has never seen my Neighbour Totoro and still hasn't, but he fell in love with Cat Bus. Because there is a giant cat bus there that, I mean, you can only play in it if you're like 6. And he was like, so why can't we play in the giant cat bus? And he bought himself a cat bus pin because cat bus is great. But he didn't actually like Howl's Moving Castle, so he just thought that he didn't like any Ghibli movies. And then like last year at some point, like late last year, we just put on Spirited Away and he loved Spirited Away. So I think I need to show him more. I think I want to show him my Neighbour Totoro next because it is really cute. Or maybe the Earthsea one because he loves the Earthsea books. But yeah, I like Studio Ghibli. This episode made me want to watch Studio Ghibli more. I have a lot of their DVDs, but they're also all on Netflix. Anyway, on to our comments on YouTube. So, first up we have Paper Pen, who says, it's so Digimon to have a mediocre season and then, right when you expect at least, pump out an episode that easily qualifies for the top 10 Digimon episodes of all time. They said that they love the silly Digimon episodes anyway, and they say that they can enjoy Digimon Adventure 2020 much more since the Monsters of the Week have started to talk. Whoopsie, we did not get that this week. And Paper Pen continues to say they're all in for more of this kind of filler. They said that the episode had an outstanding animation, especially the introduction of Etamon and Volcamon was great, but also the battle later against Ponchamon had fantastic cuts. They wish that the Garbamon episode had much more of this vividness in animation as well. And they said they'll sure be watching this episode time and time again. And yet, last episode was really good. I agree what they have to say about it being nice having talking Monsters of the Week. This episode, I feel like that's what it might have been missing because we did have the refugee Digimon, which again was kind of a nice concept, but they didn't really talk much. It just felt kind of like nobody had character in this episode, not even the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weirdly bad if you like characters having dialogue. And it wasn't
Yeah.
like if you're gonna do that kind of thing, I wish they would have, I don't know, just have the artistic direction to do the like short film from before the first adventure.
Yep.
Give me that vibe as much as you want, but no, we can't have that.
Oh yeah. Next up we have Kimberly, who says that Ponchamon is in fact a dead or ghost version of Togemon. And yeah, I can kind of get that, but I also kind of want it to be like Togemon when she's had too much tequila. Like, this is just dead drunk. It's not dead Togemon, it's dead drunk Togemon.
Yep.
Knuckle.
Which I know it's a children's anime, but also Taichi's dad was drunk in the prequel movie, so whatevs.
Well, and
Then
we
have-
just finished watching Angelic Lair, where multiple times the character's incredibly gay aunt just pours herself a scotch.
Yep.
I read that like for the first time like last year or the year before because I think it was on sale on for Kindle in Japanese for like it was very cheap and I read all of it for the first time. I was just like, oh, this is really good and I should watch the anime.
It's so good.
It's
It
really
made me
good.
gay.
It explains so much about
Yeah.
Quinn.
Yeah, that is fair.
She
That and
credits it
Code
with
Lyoko and
making her
Evangelion.
trans.
Shoko is pretty much what I mean when I say I want to be the gay aunt.
That is fair.
See?
Like, also, I get gay aunt vibes from Miyako from Zero Two.
Yep, not wrong.
Well, more when she grows up.
Oh, yeah.
Even though she marries a bloke, apparently. You can still be a gay aunt and marry a bloke.
Yeah, many of us have.
Yeah. It might just be like a... They could just be like friends that got married because as a joke, but then they accidentally got married.
Also fair.
They were roommates.
Yeah, they were roommates, but
Maybe
they got married
Ken needed to
I don't know.
transition. We don't know.
I like this. I like that a lot. Anyway, next we have Ritster, who says that, so can Tai take Agumon in a fight? Not necessarily win, but a challenging fight? I don't know. Then, because we find out that Tai withstood that baby flame attack like it was nothing, and only complained like his hair was on fire. I think that was more like not a real attack. It was just kind of like more of a burp. Like, I think that, I don't feel like it was a real baby flame, right?
Who
I don't remember
knows?
that moment.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember particularly well, and also it's Digimon, so nothing matters.
Alright everyone, so thanks for joining us this time, and you can join us next time for episode 45, Activate Metal Garurumon. So do we have any predictions other than me just really wanting to know the context for why Hikari is cosplaying as Lilymon?
That's really all I need.
That's all I care about.
Can everyone cosplay as Lilymon?
Please.
Yeah, I feel like everyone should cosplay as Lilymon all the time.
Mimi should acquire something new made out of leaves.
I wonder which
Maybe a
Digimon
belt.
the next episode will be about.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't care about the Yamato part of it.
Yeah, please don't. Can we just skip the evolution and move back to Mimi?
Yeah, I just want Mimi to be the main focus of every episode forever. Anyway, I don't really have any other thoughts other than
I've got nothing
I
else.
wonder how the writers will... Yeah, I wonder how the writers will write about Mimi this time. Anyway, so the Redbubble's link in the description, and you can get more than just shirts there too. You can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at and send us spam to LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com. And you obviously can't comment on this episode on our website because it's still down until we have the
You can
internet
think
again.
nice thoughts about our website.
You can think nice thoughts, and I'm sure that'll make me feel good. Like, my ear will burn, but the left ear, because left's for love and right's for spite, or something. I don't know, that old rhyme. Anyway.
What?
So, you can... I don't know, that's what they say. If your ears start burning, someone's talking about you, and if it's your right ear, it's for spite, and if it's your left ear, it's for love.
I've only ever
sometimes
heard the first half of that. Huh.
Really? Oh, huh. Anyway, so you can also follow us at Lost in Translation on Twitter, and you can also find us on Lost in Translation on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube, where Chisai has a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful drawn overlay of me as Mameo. So definitely check out the YouTube if it's just to look at that overlay on the thumbnails. So yeah, we also have a discussion thread on With the Will and one on the Reddit in the Digimon subreddit. And you can review us on any podcast catcher that you use, and if I see it, I will definitely read it out on the podcast. We haven't had one of those for a while. I'm not sure if that's because I just don't get the notifications, but I have looked some places, and I haven't seen any new ones. So if you have the time and you haven't given us a review before, please consider doing so. You can also donate to on Patreon, which is found in the description, and that starts from as little as $1 a month, which gets you access to a listed Discord server, but there are higher levels with more rewards such as notes, early episodes, raw episodes, and more. And thank you to our current supporters on Patreon, Joe, Stephen Reeves, who's Wild64 on Archive Our Own, Kaidawashi, Chisai, who, wonderful overlay, thank you again, also Chisai236 on Twitter, Kyle, Lizmet, who's a Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Metal Marmimon, Sam, Anthony, Keith from Gone While Hunting, a Hunter x Hunter Rewatch podcast, Silverhead Freak 25, Magnus, Lucas, JCMon05, Patrick, and Jason. And also, you can make a one-off donation on PayPal, which can be found in the description. It's paypal.me/Edgemon. Also, you can donate to me on my coffee account, ko-fi.com/airdra. And I would like you all to know that I didn't really fumble too much in the outro, so, that's a first, considering how tired I am. So, that's a thing. So, thank you to Quinn and Chloe for joining me. Quinn, where can we find you?
Probably soon, only here and on the Moncast, because I think I'm deleting Twitter.
Which is fair, because Twitter is a hell site.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm so
And-
glad that she's finally getting rid of it.
I will never see that light, unfortunately. I got rid of Facebook, a year ago, and I'm really happy because of it, but I don't feel like I'll be getting rid of Twitter anytime soon. Especially not because of
Fair.
the Translationmon Twitter account. And also, I feel like that's where I get all my news.
Yeah, see,
Like,
that's part
that's
of the
where I get my
problem
Digi news.
is the world is hell now, and I don't think I
Yep.
need to see so much news.
Yeah, I wish you could just
Cool how
block
they
the
all
news.
waited until after Trump left office, and it doesn't matter.
It's
Yeah. Anyway, Chloe, where can we find you?
bad. I'm on the ostensibly on the Discord server.
Yay! And of course, you can find Evie on the Moncast, where I've been having a few weeks off because I've been busy with moving, but hopefully I'll be back on soon. But anyway, you should definitely give the Moncast a listen anyway, because Evie and Quinn do a fantastic job of doing the podcast. And Evie does a good job editing, and you should definitely check it out because we talk about Pokemon and Digimon a lot. Because
We
that's
just did
kind of the point.
Digimon the movie, and that'll be coming out soon, and it was very, very fun.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, thank you for listening to this podcast, and hopefully, I'm more awake in future podcasts. So, thanks for listening, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.